Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. It is the Monday, June the 2nd, 2025. This is the Township of Clearview Council meeting. It's a regular council meeting. Council did meet at 3:30 today for an in-camera session. And then we're now returning here for the 5:30 session of our regular open session of council. I'd like to welcome everybody who's here, members of the public who are here, and members of our staff and contractors that are here in the audience, and all members of council. I'll begin this meeting by recognizing the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples of Canada as traditional stewards and caretaker of the land. We acknowledge that Clearview Township is located within the boundaries of Treaty 18, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Tsuut'ina, and the Wendat, and is the home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people as part of the intricate nationhood that reaches across Turtle Island. At this time of truth and reconciliation, we welcome the opportunity to work together towards new understandings and new relationships and ask the Creator for guidance in all that we do. Council, I would like to note that I just learned this by catching the news the other day that the Truth and Reconciliation Commission it's 10 years ago that they released that information. 10 years ago, actually, just on yesterday, I think it was. So it's quite interesting that that this has been spoken now for about 10 years, and our community does do the land acknowledgement as a middle of last term. So I'm very pleased that we're able to do that. All right, Council, we're going to move on in our agenda, looking over to item number 2, which is the approval of today's agenda. Item 5, item 2. Recommendation be it resolved, Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the agenda dated June the 2nd, 2025 as presented. Mr. Broderick, Mr. MacArthur, thank you. Any questions on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? It carries unanimous. Thank you. Council, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Does anybody have any declarations for today's council meeting? No, seeing none. If anything comes up during the meeting, just let me know and we'll deal with it right away. At this time, we're going to move to public participation period. It is item number 4. We do have members of the public in the audience, so I'll read the script. Be advised that comments and views expressed under the public participation period are not the views of the Township of Clearview, Council, or the administration. Public participation is limited to 15 minutes. Each person is limited to 5 minutes. Questions or comments are to be directed to the mayor, and questions shall not refer to personnel matters, litigation or potential litigation, or planning matters that have already had a public meeting or any item considered confidential. And for those members of the public who are not able to attend the meeting in person, written public participation can be provided through the township's portal. Written comments shall be received prior to noon on the Friday before the regularly scheduled council meeting. So please remember to share the time with your fellow citizens. I will go directly to any of our electronic participations, and I'll ask the deputy clerk, Krista, if there are any participations that we have that qualify.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, there were 2 qualifying submissions this week, and they've been placed in front of you tonight.
Okay, I have them here with me. Thank you, Krista, for that. And members of council, these have all been distributed to each of you. So I'll read the 2 qualifying ones. This one is from Mr. Dave Witzka. I'm going to read his comments verbatim, and then I'll make a comment. Seeing as how taxpayers are borrowing $35 million from the county, what is the rate of interest? What is the monthly payment? And are 100% of taxpayers funding a project that benefits a few? That's the words that are in his question. I'll give one very clear statement. We're not borrowing $35 million from the county. We did enter into an agreement with them that would see us borrowing up to $30 million. And so that 35 million is perhaps a typo, Mr. Witzka. The other aspect to that is that taxpayers are not paying for any of these funds to be repaid. This is coming out of our water rate fund, as well as through the grant program to fund the project. So when it says 100% of taxpayers funding a project that benefits a few, there are no tax-paying dollars paying for it directly from the Township of Clearview. I'm sure you could argue that some taxpayers' dollars paid through the province of Ontario are paying for it. But that's not under our purview, and yet we are receiving that money as a grant from Infrastructure Ontario. And regarding the interest rate, The interest rate has been set by the county as a policy of the county. And it is the interest rate that is charged by Infrastructure Ontario plus 0.5% or 0.5%. So that is the rate. As far as monthly payments go, the program has not been entered into by us at this time. And so we do not know what the monthly payment is, as we have not borrowed $1 from that account yet. The option is available for us. Thank you, Mr. Witzka. I have the second one here for council. This one comes from Mr. Dave Witzka. It says here, since the township purchased the former Stainer Care Center and severed the former Wilcox Inn, how much did the township receive on the sale for said building? Mr. Witzka, council has not severed the former Wilcox block. And how much did we receive on the sale of the building? The building has not been sold. Further, we have not closed on this deal to finalize the purchase yet. So the only funds that have transpired between this township and the seller was the down payment that was prearranged. And that is all I will say on this at this time. Thank you. Now, I'll look to the floor. Are there any members of the public who wish to come forward and ask a question? Nope, seeing none? All right, well, thank you very much. Thank you, members of council, for allowing me to read those out. And we'll now move in our agenda to page 3 already. Boy, hardly open the meeting. We're already on page 3. We're going to go to delegations and presentations. At this time, we have our friend Jay Anstey as a partner with Baker Tilly. And Jay, if welcome to the podium. We're going to talk about our audit for the 2023 Consolidated Financial Report. It's always good to have you here, Jay, and nice that you're able to join us and share with us how we did on our 23 financials. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Measures and members of council. Good to see you as always. As Mayor Measures stated, I'm here to present the 2023 financial results and the results of the audit. Part of auditing is timeliness, and unfortunately this is the 2023 audit at this time. I'm hoping to be brief tonight so that we can get through this, get an approval from council, and get working on the 2024 audit. Slide. If you recall, I was here pretty much 1 year ago in June of 2024 presenting the 2022 audit results, and we had hoped to be here in the fall of 2024 to present the 2023 audit results. The 2023 audit was not actually started until January of 2025, and we've been working on it with management until this point to be able to complete the audit. We did have a number of accounting adjustments throughout that period that the audit team worked on with management to be able to present the financials to you tonight in a clean, unqualified opinion once we were complete the audit with all of the entries made. In addition to the actual financial statements, there is a part of the audit where we report on recommendations on policies and procedures. This is issued in a separate letter that we do issue to management on recommendations. This year, many of the recommendations were similar to our findings in 2022, and many of those were a result of some staff vacancies and turnover in staffing. We've talked to management about the implementation of these, and many of them have been implemented through 2024. So we're looking to be back here in the summer performing the 2024 audit and hope to be back here in the fall of 2025 to report on whether those controls and processes have been implemented as recommended. With that said, we did have an unqualified 2023 audit report, meaning the financial statements are free from material misstatement. It is important to note that materiality is a judgmental threshold that is set. It's based on generally accepted Canadian auditing standards. And for 2023, the materiality was set at $950,000 threshold. So the draft is before you today for recommendation for approval, and also included are the Stainer Trust Funds and Lavender and Stainer Union Cemetery financial statements. As for a brief financial result overview, starting with the operations of 2023, looking at net revenues of $3,048,000. This compared to a budget of $1.3 million. Operating revenues and expenditures were generally in line with within budget. And the main variance this year being a $1.8 million increase in investment income over budget. Investment income is generally conservatively budgeted, and in 2023 interest rates, we did see a spike in those. So a nice return on investment income. That was the main reason for the net revenues over budget. And this $3 million generally goes into reserves to fund future year projects. Also, capital and other revenues of $8.3 million. This compared to a $94.9 million budget. Obviously, that $94 million budget is a multi-year capital project budget that it includes projects that span over multiple years. But the $8.3 million is a significant increase in investment in the town. $5.2 million of this is contributed from developers, and that mainly being the Stainer and Phillips Street projects. And the remainder of the $8.3 million coming from obligatory reserve funds and capital grants that again were spent on capital assets, the reinvestment in the town. Looking at the financial position at the end of 2023, the financial assets of $52 million compared to $49 million, both very healthy year over year, so no concerns there. In terms of being able to cover liabilities, Clearview is in a very healthy position, 2.8 times their current liabilities, so can well cover those. A little bit below the province and average, and this is mainly a result of investments where we're starting to see province-wide investments starting to accumulate as reserve funds are growing. So a little bit behind the province average there, but again, very healthy balance. On the liability side, we have deferred revenue, and this is the obligatory reserve funds. I always like to point these out. Not much change year over year, about the same, but that doesn't mean there wasn't a lot of activity in the overall balance. There's $3.6 million of development charges and grants collected throughout 2023, $2.8 million, and again, mainly the development at Stainer and Phillips Street, as well as $600,000 from the Canada Community Building Fund collected during the year. But then $3.2 million of this was used to reinvest in the community. $1.8 million was spent on concession 10, and another $800,000 on Stainer and Creemore wastewater expenditures. Included in deferred revenue in the obligatory reserve funds is $400,000 that was reduced in overdrawn obligatory reserves. And it is important to note that this balance has been decreasing each year over the past several years as they were overdrawn several years ago, and they have, as development activity has increased, these have been, the overdrawn has been reduced. Looking at long-term liabilities, there was no new debt taken on through the 2023 fiscal year. There was $1 million of long-term liabilities that were repaid, in addition to $500,000 in interest payments. So there was $1.5 million total spent on debt. In comparison to the community's own source revenues, this represents 5.4% of the community's revenue, which is in line with the provincial average and just above the low risk line, but generally a low risk area. And then just another snapshot of the net financial assets. So again, showing that the township is in a healthy balance, positive net financial assets, meaning you have enough cash, investments, and receivables to cover all liabilities, and that includes long-term debt. So being in a positive position shows a healthy balance there. Tangible capital assets, these are the bricks and mortar of the town and the physical assets that the township owns. $153 million, a $12.4 million increase year over year. There were $17 million of additions in tangible capital assets through the year. That was offset by $4.5 million of amortization, the systematic depreciation of the assets. Some significant additions include the $4 million additions to the Sunnydale and Phillips Street roads and water and wastewater infrastructure. $4.25 million spent on concession 10, $3.6 million on the new Lowell Fire and Public Works building, and $940,000 on halls throughout the community. And finally, accumulated surplus. This is a good financial snapshot of the town. $160 million accumulated surplus and $11 million increase year over year. And I think this represents the reinvestment in the town and the growth of the township. There's considerable activity. Again, $13.5 million of the increase is investment in tangible capital assets. And that's the $12.5 million I indicated on the previous slide increased, offset by the $1 million in debt repayment to get a $13.5 million increase. And then the final line, reserves and reserve funds, there's a $4 million net use of reserves during the year. This is $3.6 million of increase in reserves as the township funded its reserves, but then $7.6 million usage of reserves. And again, this went to those projects that I referred to before, the new Lowell Fire and Public Works building, the hall reconstruction, and some money spent on concession 10. Looking at reserves go back to one more slide. Looking at reserves as a percentage of operating expenditures, you will see Clearview is 31%, which is a low risk area, but below the provincial average. You will notice though, there's the general surplus area of $12.7 million is an unallocated reserve, or sorry, it's not allocated reserve, but it's made up of past year's surpluses. So when you factor that into the calculation, it's actually at 73% of total operating expenses, bringing it more in line with the provincial average. So when you factor those two together, which you could, but technically it's not on the provincial indicators, those are more in line. So it's good to see that Clearview Township is building those reserves to be in line with provincial averages. Those are the financial highlights that I wanted to go over, and happy to field any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anstey. It's I feel it's a good report. So thank you so much for your work on that. You and your colleagues, I'm sure that really got to work on the paperwork here to get this wrapped up and bring us the information that council now can have and make a decision on. Thank you so much for that. Members of council, are there other questions to Mr. Anstey? Yes, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. Jay, quick question. Under the consolidated financial position, our accounts receivable have gone from 9.2 to 12.4. Can you tell us what those receivables are generally for?
Yes, I can, and through you, Your Worship. Part of that is actually related to HST receivable. Part of that is as the township spends money, there's HST collectible back. And so given the increase in activity, there's a good portion of that. I think it's 6 million of it is actually HST receivable. And Treasurer McDonald can confirm, I believe, that has been collected since the 2023 year end.
So that would put us down to about 6 million. Would that, and that's not taxation, that's receivables for developments and stuff like that, is
Investments.
investments and stuff.
Yeah, and some of it is grants that are receivable as well.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I just noticed it jumped at 3, and I know, like you said, we did that previous year, did a lot of building, so there would be any HST rebate expectation. So thank you.
Kelly, did you want to speak? You were looking this way. I just want to check.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to confirm, yes, all the funds for the HST have been received.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Paul. Other questions from members of council? No? All right. Well, thank you very much. And your comment there early was that we're going to get to work on 24 right away. Basically, within a month, we're going to be tackling 2024. Is that correct?
Yes, we're looking at July 2024 to start the audit, so next month.
Right on. Kelly, would you like to have a final word on this before I take it to vote?
I just want to thank my department for everything they did for this audit and made it go a lot smoother. And we're looking forward to a smooth one next year. And thank Jay's team as well. They worked really well
That's right.
with us.
I'm very happy to have this great relationship between our auditor, our treasury, and we do have a fantastic team. There's no doubt about it. Thank you so much for your leadership on that as well. All right, Jay, appreciate your report. Council, in front of you, we have, we've sort of stepped out of our normal pattern and we've brought forward the motion that would normally be buried in our agenda, but today we're going to bring it right up front here. We do have the financial statements for 2023. I have a recommendation, and I'll look for a mover and seconder. Okay. Recommended be it resolved the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report FIN 0012-2025. It's the 2023 audited financial statements dated June the 2nd, 2025. Item 1, that Council approve the Township's 2023 audited financial statements prepared by Baker Tilly SGB LLP as presented. Deputy Mayor? Thank you. Can I ask Councillor Deneen? Thank you. Will be the seconder. Is there any further conversation or questions about this? No, seeing none. Thank you, Council. I will call the motion. All in favor? And that carries unanimously. I appreciate that. And Council, let's be ready to do this again in the fall. How's that for 2024? Thank you, team. I appreciate all the work you have to put this together. All right, Council, we're going to move on to item number 6, which is public meetings. There are no public meetings. And now we have the approval of our council meeting minutes. Recommendation be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the minutes of the May 26, 2025 council meeting as presented. Just the one so far. I'll look for Mr. Beelan. Thank you. Mr. MacArthur. Thank you. Any questions on the approval of the council meeting minutes? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you very much, guys. And item 8 is our correspondence. And we do have a couple of items here that came out of our in-camera session. Let me just find them here. Yes. Okay, Council. I have 2 items, and this came from our closed session. Item number 8.1. This is the OLT, Ontario Land Tribunal, appeal update. Be it resolved, the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby directs staff to act in accordance with the direction provided in closed session regarding the OLT appeal update for 3341 34 Side Road, Sunnydale. Gonna get that moved by Mr. Walker. Thank you. And Mr. Broderick. Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you. The second item that came from our closed session, Klondike Park Road Well Site Reservoir Pumping Station Project Update. Be it resolved, the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby directs staff to act in accordance with the direction provided in closed session regarding the Klondike Park Road Well Site Reservoir Pumping Station Project. Very good. Ms. Deneen, would you like to move that? Thank you. Deputy Mayor? Thank you. Seconder? And any questions on this recommendation? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? That carries also unanimously. All right, Council. And now we're going to look at the other items that are on our correspondence for information. Let's see here, the memo to municipalities about the Ontario Provincial Policing Cost Recovery Model Review and the June webinars. Before I go on, I'll just ask if our Treasury Department, are you guys participating in these webinars? Are you sitting in on these, Kelly or Celine?
Thank you, Worship. I haven't signed up for them yet,
Okay.
but I will be attending.
It's good to know. If you recall last year, we received sort of a 11th hour decision that came from the Treasury Board to support municipalities across Ontario with the significant increase of OPP costing. So I'd be very interested to hear what this is going to be, which will affect our discussions when we do the 26 budget. So thank you for that. The NVCA board highlights are next. Paul, did you have anything you want to speak to that? You're our member there.
Not too much, Your Worship. I mentioned in the previous one that our new CAO, Jennifer, is making the round, Jennifer Vincent, and she will be coming to our meetings before too long. We are dealing with some issues, but generally things are going pretty good. And most of the discussion on their highlights relate to the camps that are coming up and the such. So there's not too much to be stepped on right now.
Okay. I know the NVCA continue to do great work, so thank you for that. Members of council, if you have any questions to anything on these correspondence items, seeing none, we're going to move on to our ward reports. The arrow has been moved. It is Mr. Broderick's turn to kick it off. Hope you guys are okay with this. You know, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. It's far end of the table, always start. All right, take it away, John.
Thank you, Your Worship. May 27th, attended the Clearview Chamber of Commerce bylaw committee review. May 28th, attended the Timmerman Timberworks Business Insights Tour in New Lowell. That's quite a fascinating place too. May 28th, attended the Georgian Communities Public Information Session regarding the Nottawa subdivision. May 30th, partook in Glenda Boudreaux's retirement tea come and go at the Creemore branch of the Clearview Public Library. And coming up, June the 5th is the opening for Music Market and Parket at Station Park in Stayner. Also June 5th is the County Warden's Gala at Three Feathers Terrace in Innisfil. June 11th will be the Clearview Culture and Sports Hall of Fame Awards. And June 13th will be the Clearview Firefighters Emergency Services Awards and Appreciation Banquet. June 17th will be the next Clearview Public Library Board meeting. And summer solstice is coming up on June the 20th in Creemore. That's it for me.
All right. Thank you, John. I look forward to seeing you at all those events, as you usually are. Mr. MacArthur, how are you?
Very good, sir. And yeah, June's gonna be a busy month, so.
It is.
Yeah, so we've only been away a week here, so yeah, I also attended the PIC last Wednesday and for Georgian Communities, and then also as Councillor Broderick stated, I attended Glenda Boudreaux's retirement party and wished her well and thanked her for 30+ years of service with the Creemore Library. Great job. That's all.
So I'll maybe get you to kick in a bit on this. We, since our last meeting, we had our last county council meeting last Tuesday, and which was very interesting. Of course, we got approval for our money, which for the water infrastructure, which was very, very important. But some things happened before that part was we had voting on regarding the weighted votes within the county. So there was an agreement for the separation of recorded and weighted voting. And there would be, in other words, you can ask for a recorded vote or you can ask for a weighted vote. And you cannot ask, once a vote is taken, there will be no more second votes. In other words, if a regular vote goes through, that's it. If you ask for a weighted vote, it must be done before any other vote is taken. It also went into discussions about when the weighted vote can be used, i.e. for employment issues. A lot of this has been in the press already, so that you'll see it on the Simcoe County website. But we've come a long way as far as trying to equalize the voting system within the county. Is it perfect? No, but it's a compromised situation. We had Carmen Stumpo from the Hospital Alliance. He's actually the chairman of the Aurelia Soldiers Memorial, talking about the hospitals. And I don't think there's one hospital in our community right now that isn't getting improvements, money or whatever. It's phenomenal to see it. But the number of people that we serve is just phenomenal now. The cancer treatments and stuff like that. I think if the figure is right, I think it was $130,000, 130,000 people that we're dealing with. So anyways, it was a very constructive meeting that we had, and we'll see what comes of it. As we all attended the PIC meeting last week, I won't talk about that. This week we have the grand opening of the Music Market and Parket. I will be there in attendance. And also this coming Saturday is the Trail Tune. So all things to look forward to, and we're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves. There's the things we have to do this coming month. So thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Paul. And thank you for mentioning some of those items on the county. Certainly the Hospital Alliance is something that each municipality across Simcoe County has a hospital that they serve or that serves them. And it's nice to see that the county has supported all the hospitals underneath one umbrella called the Hospital Alliance. So I think that was a very wise decision we made some years ago at the county. And so I'm glad that it's working out. Thanks for bringing that point up. Phyllis, I'd like to go to you next.
Thank you, Your Worship. As Councillor Broderick mentioned, last Wednesday we went to Timmerman Timber Works, and it was a real interesting tour. It was the Business Insight Tour through our Economic Development. Thank you, Briar. And they really, really appreciate and value their employees there. And it was really, really nice to see that, as well as very interesting what they have accomplished with that. I just want to say a big thanks to our Public Works Department. They must have finished up on their storm cleanup. I've noticed today that we've got a lot less potholes and that the street sweeper was doing the curbs and sidewalks in Ottawa. So thank you very much to those guys. And just about our hall, just the next Library Days visit at the hall is Sunday, June 8th. And that's it for me. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Phyllis, and thank you for mentioning those. Marty Beelan, how are you, Counselor?
Oh, there we go. Short, just a week ago we met and I don't have much to report. Councillor Broderick and Councillor Deneen already mentioned them. I attended the tour of Timmerman's Timberworks in New Lowell, and I was very impressed, not only with the work they do, but they employ local residents, but I was really impressed with how clean their air is. I mean, you'd think there'd be lots of dust floating around with all the sawing that they do, but it was really clear. Clean air. They do laminated wood beams, and they've got some impressive projects, including one for Simcoe County that they're doing. And I also attended the Georgian Communities Public Information and Town Hall meeting, and it set the record for the latest meeting I have been to. So a lot of information there.
Excellent. Thank you very much. It was a good tour for sure. Mr. Walker.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple things have already been mentioned. June 5th, Music Market and Parket, June 7th, Trail Tunes. But I also want to say that today I participated in the Strong Mayor's Power Workshop virtually through the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. Roughly about 250 were on the screen. There were no question and answers. It was basically 20 minutes of the policy, which we have discussed and talked about and read here. And then the other 20 minutes was based on scenarios or most often asked questions. So there was a few things that I was able to pick up from that I hadn't read or we haven't discussed here. So I just say thank you to the ministry for that workshop. It helped certainly clarify some things. And other than that, there's a lot of other things happening in June, but we'll leave those till later. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Walker. I've got a couple items here I just want to mention. A few of them have already been mentioned, but I do want to share it again. First of all, longtime librarian and staff member here at the Township, Glenda Boudreau. What a wonderful little tea party. That was wonderful to see her. So many friends came out, past employees of the library, patrons. It was great. Councillor MacArthur and I were there at the same time, and it was just a really nice moment to share with her after serving our community for all these years. And I was thinking about all the young people that she probably met, through the library service and how they're, now 25 years old or so, because she met them all as little people when they were coming into the library the first time. So it was a great event. I'm really pleased for her to have that retirement opportunity. I do want to mention the Ottawa meeting we held last Wednesday. That was a very good meeting, I thought. Apologize, it was over 3 hours, but it was still a very good meeting, a good opportunity for the residents of Ottawa who have been certainly asking an awful lot of questions about this development. And rightfully so, given the fact that it's taken all these years for this development to finally move forward. And so I was pleased that we were able to organize such a meeting. And it was very timely that the Crozier team and the Georgian team had put together their PIC because they have a change coming in the EA process. And so that's what the meat of the matter was, as the reason why the PIC was held. And just to be clear, public information sessions, the PICs, Public Information Center, are generally held as a more of a casual affair where they would rent a hall or use the council chambers and set up some boards, and you walk around and talk to the experts sort of on a one-on-one basis. That's generally how PICs are held. I thought that it was very forward thinking of them to allow it to be held in more of a town hall style, where there was a full presentation by the lead planner on it, and I thought that was it was great. Not to say we're going to be doing these in the future like that at all times, but certainly for our friends in Ottawa that wanted to hear some details and get an understanding about what the project is, I thought it was a really well done event. Again, like I said, I apologize. It was 3 hours, but thank you for members of council that hung in here for us. And also to our clerk for allowing us to sort of shuffle the room around a little bit and put people in different places so that we can have a comfortable environment for both the presenters, members of council, myself, the deputy mayor, to all participate. So thank you very much to for the staff for helping us on that. I do want to mention that this week I will be frankly leaving the community for 3 days as I have to participate in a conference. It's called the Ontario Association of Police Service Boards. So I'm a member of the Huronia West Police Services Board, along with Marty Beelan, myself, and the chair, which is Mayor Smith, Brian Smith from Wasaga Beach, will be attending, along with the clerk from Wasaga Beach. Sorry, Sasha, not your turn this time, but I'm sure you could go another time. Nevertheless, it will be an important meeting for us, as Brian is the chair and I'm the co-chair. And I think that we need to actually learn from this committee, some of the responsibilities and duties that we have. This is a brand new committee for us right here in Huronia West. And so we're pleased. One of the questions I'm going to be asking, particularly if I get a chance to talk to some of the provincial representatives, is there's supposed to be provincial designated people who are on our committee, and they have not followed through with that yet. They have not attained any public representation on that police services board yet, other than the people that we put forward as members of Clearview Township public. And so there's supposed to be people, I believe, is it 2 or 3 people, 2? And so to fulfill the mandate of the board, we should have the full membership fulfilled, right? So that's one of the things I'm going to be pushing and asking some questions, but I am looking forward to learning more about how the Police Services Board and this new act, the new Police Act, is going to help serve our community here in Clearview. So that's where I'll be for Tuesday through Thursday. On Thursday, regretfully, I will not be able to attend the opening night of our Music Market and Parket here in Stainer. Deputy Mayor, I think you said you're going to be there, so please do your best to bring greetings on behalf of council, and I thank you for doing that so much. To other members of council, I encourage you to attend. It's always a terrific event here in our community, so please go out and enjoy yourselves there. Wednesday or Thursday night, I will be at the Warden's Gala, which is a major fundraiser for the United Way. It's something that the Warden's office has been doing for, gosh, I'm thinking might be 15 years. They've been running a gala to support the United Way. And so that's a big part of what we're doing on Thursday night. I believe, Councillor Broderick, you're going to be there for that. So I'll see you there at that. And then I just want to fast forward everybody to Sunday, something that was not mentioned, but it is in my calendar and I wanted to share it with you. On Sunday, June the 8th, 9:30 a.m. So that's before church. We will be attending, or I'll be attending, the Indigenous Market. The Creemore Farmers Market is hosting a special market on Sunday, June the 8th, 9 o'clock or 9:30, I think it is 9:30. They're going to have an Indigenous market in the marketplace space on that morning. So I'll be down there to welcome people there and to see the events and perhaps do some shopping with some of the vendors that'll be there to honor and celebrate the Indigenous market that's happening. So that's something that's on my calendar. And I do look forward to the following week when we have our Sports Hall of Fame and get a lot of busy things going on here in June. Let's hope that the weather warms up and we can all enjoy it. All right, folks, that's all I have for here. If there's nothing further, we'll move on. Slipping over to page 4, we have our department reports. Members of council, let's see, Finance Department's up first. This is the HEWSF Grant Transfer Payment Agreement. And so this is where we make the agreement with His Majesty the King. Recommendation, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report FIN 010-2025, the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund dated June the 2nd, 2025. Item 1, that a bylaw be entered into a transfer payment agreement with His Majesty the King in right of the Province of Ontario as representatives of the Minister of Infrastructure, authorizing the Mayor and Clerk to sign the letter of agreement on behalf of the Township of Clearview, be presented and read at this June the 2nd, 2025 meeting for approval. Okay, I'll look for a mover and seconder. Walker, thank you. And I'll look down this side. Mr. Broderick, thank you. All right. John, would you like to speak to this along with Kelly? I know, John, you've worked on this as well, and This was something that we've all worked on to try to get a grant program here, but let's start with Kelly since she's keen, and we'll give John an opportunity to follow up with that.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to the rest of council. This is finally the transfer payment agreement we've been waiting for. And as soon as we have this approved and signed, we'll actually start getting our provincial funding for the Stainer water supply. So it's very exciting.
That's pretty simple. All right. John, would you like to add anything to that? It's a $35 million agreement.
No, very happy to be receiving the money, Your Worship, and I don't have anything to add. Once we sign this agreement, it's going to be our marching orders to get our infrastructure built.
That's right. Okay. Members of council, do you have any questions to the agreement as it's been presented? Holy cow, I know we've talked about this a long time. All right. We're all good? Council, thank you, staff. Thank you, all the staff who have helped contribute to this, and thank you, council, for contributing to this all the way along. We have a motion in front of us. I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That is a unanimous. Thank you so much. Let's get moving there, Mr. CAO. Okay. The next one is the borrowing from Simcoe County Klondike Park Road Water Project. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report FIN 011-2025, the County of Simcoe borrowing Klondike Park Road Water Project, dated June 2nd, 2025, and that Council authorizes the Treasurer to enter into a loan agreement for a 5-year term with the County of Simcoe for the amount of, I'm sure it's 30 million, not 35. I'm just going to correct it on here. I'm sure it's 30. Yes, well, it is still only 30. I'm sure that's what the number is. For an amount up to $30 million, as outlined in this report. And item 2, that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign an agreement to finalize the county loan terms. Whew. Mr. Beelan, would you like to move that? Thank you. Appreciate that. And who's that? Okay, we'll go to our Mr. MacArthur as a seconder. And do you want to speak to this at all, Kelly? Kelly, and the clerk reminded me that it could be up to 35, but I'm pretty confident it's only 30 because the county only approved 30.
Thank you, Worship. Yes, you are correct. It was up to $30 million.
Yeah.
I had the 35 million grant stuck in my head when I was
I
working
don't
on the
blame you.
report,
What
I
the heck?
guess. There's a lot of information in this report, so I'm more than happy to answer any questions, but I'm hoping I've provided council with enough that they can make a solid decision.
Right on. Members of council, you got any questions on how this is going to flow through? Okay. I think we should acknowledge just one thing. John, maybe you could help explain that. The rate does change after 1 year, correct? So maybe you just get that little tidbit in there so we understand that the rate with this does change a little bit.
So the county is asking us to pay 0.5% more than the IO rate. The IO rate right now is 3.4. And then any ensuing year afterwards, they're going to add an additional 0.1% as an incentive not to carry the loan, the bridge financing too long. And again, is in the discussion at the opening remarks as it relates to who ends up paying for this. This all is DC recoverable. So when a home is built and sold, these DCs, which will be less as a result of getting 35 million from the province, are still borne by the homeowner. And when that money comes into the developer, then it comes into us. And that's how basically the money's recovered. So this is not coming from taxpayers, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's a financial instrument to have it built.
Okay. Thank you for that. And thank you for that clarity. Is anybody else with a question? All right. Seeing none. Council, there's a motion in front of you. I am prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? And it's another unanimous decision. Thank you so much. Okay. Was there anything I missed on this page? Oh, yes, the amending fees and charges bylaw. Do we just skip that, Kelly, or should we bring that one up? Okay, we'll bring it up. Fees and charges bylaw. I'm smiling, okay? I know how difficult this can be sometimes. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report FIN 013-2025 to amend the fees and charges bylaw 2025-01, dated June the 2nd, 2025. That council supports the proposed amendments to the fees and charges bylaw 2025-01, attached as Appendix A to this report. Item 2, the council directs staff to present the bylaw at the June 2nd, 2025 meeting for their final approval. Okay, mover and seconder, Mr. Broderick. Deneen, thank you. Any questions on this report, or Kelly, do you have anything you want to add? No? Okay. Any questions? There's a lot of charges and things in this report. Well done, Celine, putting it together, right? Did you do this, or did Kelly? You both did it. I know you did. Members of council, there's nothing further? All right, I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous as well. Okay. We got through those finance reports, and now we're on to building and planning. The Stainer Secondary Plan Update Report. It's a good report. All right, I'll put it on the floor and then we'll ask some questions. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PB 020-2025, Stainer Secondary Plan Update Report dated June the 2nd, 2025 for information. Item 1, that Council directs staff to bring forward a report detailing a set of criteria which will be used to rank individual property servicing build readiness when within the study area. I'll ask, is that Councillor Deneen? Would you like to move that one? Thank you. And seconded by Mr. Deputy Mayor. Thank you very much. Okay, Amy, would you like to lead this off? And I know you've got your team here with you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll just give a bit of an intro and then I'll pass it over to Danielle, if that's okay with you, to do the presentation. Just noting, as Council is aware, RJ Burnside and GSP are on board to help us with this very important secondary planning exercise. So to that end, Steve Weaver and Patrick Casey from GSP are in attendance virtually to help with any questions, if there are any, and Jeff Langlois is here in person, likewise, to help with any questions. So with your blessing, we'll allow Danielle to make the presentation.
All right, thank you. Welcome, Danielle. Nice to see you here in the chambers.
Thank you, Your Worship. So we met with the project team, being staff, GSP, and Burnside, determining that providing a complete full project plan as requested by council is a bit premature. So right now, staff and the consultants are currently working on gathering some background infrastructure and transportation data. Once we have all this information collected, we will be able to provide that project plan with the timeline, cost, and deliverables. Moving forward, we've created a sort of methodology where we're looking to establish a set of criterias that will be used to rank a property by determining their build readiness and servicing readiness. In Appendix B of your report, there's a list of provincial matters that are matters of interest in the Planning Act that will help us create those criteria. For example, looking at current approvals phases for a property. For example, if they have a draft plan approval or a concept or proximity to existing infrastructure. So for example, if the pipes are in the ground or servicing needs to be extended. The development team and the relevant consultants will continue to gather this information and bring forward an updated report in the coming weeks. And we're all here to answer any questions.
Okay, well, thank you, Danielle, and thank you to Patrick and team up there. Nice to see you guys. I didn't know you were on board there until Amy introduced, so it's good to have you join us. All right, members of council, do you have any questions in regards to this this plan here, the secondary plan update? Looking around? Nope. Yes, Paul, go right ahead.
Danielle, I'm not sure if you could just talk a bit about it. When I'm looking at the proposed settlement area, the build boundary will only be for immediate processing. You said shovel ready, so to speak, whereas the urban settlement expansion, that's just an arbitrary 1 kilometer line, basically, that at some day we could be build ready. Can you explain that a bit, please?
If I may, your worship, I'll jump in to answer the deputy mayor's question. So the built boundary, the pink dotted line in your appendix A, I believe, it reflects the built boundary that's in the official plan for out of the growth plan that indicates where we are sort of built to today generally. And the red dotted line is, you're correct, lands within 1 kilometer of the Stainer existing settlement boundary. And that number 2 is from, or rather that line as well is from the new township official plan. And the township official plan essentially sets that area aside, quote unquote, as an area being primed for future potential as far as development. So there is specific wording in the official plan. And so in order to sort of pass muster with provincial planning statement and the county official plan, we did want to use these dotted lines from the official plan to sort of set the stage for our study area.
So at this point, we don't give any indication that they will be included in the development area. It's just for maybe someday when we need it, possibly.
Yes, exactly. Basically setting aside those properties that we're even going to look at are within the red dotted line.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Given that it takes 30+ years to get any development moving forward, it's always good to put the plan out there well in advance. So that's why I'm very much supportive of the whole idea of getting this secondary plan done, because then we can at least say to the property owners and neighbors of those property owners that these will obviously become part of the town of Stainer proper and be part of that expansion of the urban area here in Clearview. Any other questions from our members? Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you. And thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Members of council, we have a mover and seconder on this recommendation. And so I am prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you very much. All right. And we're going to move down in our agenda to the next item, zoning bylaw amendment for the Lisbon asphalt products. This was the 4769 Highway 26 discussion. I think it was a good public meeting on that. Let's see here. Recommendation be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PB 021-2025 zoning bylaw amendment for Lisbon Asphalt Products Limited at 4769 Highway 26 dated June the 2nd, 2025. Item 1, that a zoning bylaw generally consistent with the draft amendment found in Appendix F for the lands municipally known as 4769 Highway 26 be presented to council for the approval at the June 23rd, 2025 council meeting. Okay, a mover and seconder on that. Mr. Beelan, would that be you? Thank you very much. Was there be a seconder? MacArthur, thank you very much. Okay, is this yours, Nick? Okay, welcome, Nick. Nice to have you here. Do you have any comments you want to bring before we go to questions?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to the rest of council. So this application, it was actually received on June 26, 2024. And I believe the public meeting was August 28th, 2024. So we've had it for a little while. We've been working with our expert peer review consultants as well as external agencies to review submission material. The report's fairly comprehensive, so I'm here to answer any questions, but hopefully it's enough to give you the information you need to make a decision on it tonight.
Okay, I've got one question brewing, but I'm going to leave it up to the members of council first. Do they have any questions to this report? Okay. Yes, so Paul, go right ahead.
Thank you, Nick. I did have a bit of a chance to talk to him previously about this application. This is for rezoning, or is this for the site plan approval and everything that we're looking at?
So this one is just for rezoning. So it's establishing an asphalt plant as additional permitted use on the subject lands. There's also a site-specific exception to increase the minimum front yard setback to 270 meters from the front property line. So it's just a land use review or permission with the site plan to follow.
I just wanted you to make that clear to everybody here. And so that's good because we're not dealing with site plan specific issues tonight. We're dealing with just the zoning of it. So thank you.
That's correct.
Okay. Anybody else with any other questions? Members of council? Okay. I have a quick question for you, Nick. Has there been discussions with Ministry of Transport about a possible turning lane for this operation? Is that something that's in there? Is that going to be discussed in a site plan, or have we even had these type of contacts to see that that's even looked at for a turning lane or any type of widening of the road at that point?
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, so through the original pre-consultation process, Ministry of Transportation was circulated and did provide comment. Through the formal application process, they were also circulated. They did provide comment indicating that they did have no concerns with the findings of the TIS that was submitted, and that they would, the applicant could proceed with applying for the required MTO applications and permitting requirements through the site plan approval stage. In terms of the turning lane, that would be determined through site plan. I believe there is a recommendation for a right-hand taper to turn in, but at this point in time, that would be the only requirement that I'm aware of, with MTO being the final authority on what improvements would be required on their road as it is in their jurisdiction.
Certainly, I recall during the public meeting, there was a couple of comments about that. There was even one member, I believe, that brought up the whole idea of a left-hand separate lane to make the turn, but I don't think that's possible there. But certainly a right-hand lane would be a very good thing to have added, considering the volume of traffic on that road. But that's up to MTO. They're experts, right?
Through your worship, that's correct. And also I can confirm that following the public meeting, staff did provide kind of a summary of the comments that were received to MTO. So they were aware of some of the comments that did come from the public concerns. So hopefully they will take those in consideration through the site plan approval process to follow.
Okay, well, stay tuned. All right, thank you so much. Thank you, staff. Any other questions from our council? No? All right, one more opportunity. Good. Council, we've got a mover and seconder on this motion. So I am prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? Unanimous decision again. Thank you very much. Moving on to Lilac Park Official Plan Amendment, Zoning Bylaw, PB 022. Let's see, this is a recommendation. I'll read this, look for a mover and seconder. Be it resolved, Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PB 022 2025, the Lilac Park Inc. Official Plan Amendment and Zoning Bylaw Amendment. Excuse me. Dated June the 2nd, 2025. Item 1. The council finds that the applications are consistent with and conform to provincial policies as well as with the objectives and intent of the county and township official plans and has considered all comments received. And item 2, that bylaw 2538 adopting official plan amendment number 28 to the Clearview 2001 official plan and adopting official plan number 3 to the Clearview 2024 official plan be presented at the June 2nd, 2025 meeting for approval. Item 3, that council directs a written notice of the adoption of the official plan amendment in accordance with section 17 of the Planning Act. And item 4, that council directs staff to forward the official plan amendment along with all supporting materials to the county of Simcoe for approval. And item 5, that council directs staff to bring forward a bylaw consistent with the draft included in Schedule G to amend zoning bylaw number 0654 at such time as the official plan amendment area approved by the county of Simcoe. And item 6, that council directs staff to give notice of the passing of the zoning bylaw amendment located in Schedule D in accordance with section 3.4 of the Planning Act at such time the bylaws are adopted. Okay, mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor, thank you. And Mr. Beelan? Oh, Mr. Broderick, thank you very much. You got to flash that a little louder over there. Okay. A lot of direction here being given for this one, and I'm confident that someone wants to speak to this. Amy, is this yours? Nick again? Nick, you lucky guy. All right, Nick. A lot of council directing staff to do a lot of things here in this recommendation, but overall, it's a good report and brings forward more growth in our community. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Worship. So basically there's 2 applications that have been considered. So there's an official plan amendment, which seeks to redesignate the residential zone or designated components of the subject lands to commercial. And there's a subsequent rezoning application, which seeks to rezone the entirety of the site to a general commercial exception zone. So basically tonight would be adopting the amended official plan amendment to both the 2001 and 2024 official plan documents. Provided that is approved and then it is adopted and then submitted to county for approval and is approved, council will also be directed to approve bring back the zoning bylaw, draft zoning bylaw to a subsequent meeting following those approvals of the official plan. Like I said, this one again is a more comprehensive report as well. So if there's any specific questions, I'm happy to address them.
All right, members of council, do you have any questions? Paul's got one. Go right ahead. And then Mr. Walker. Go ahead, Paul.
Thank you. I had an opportunity to question Nick previously on this. Similar to my previous ask, this is strictly for rezoning this application right now. We do have some concerns with the site plan that was presented, which our staff is aware of, and we'll deal with that when we come down to the site plan agreements and stuff like that. But overall, it's a good, as you mentioned, your worship, we welcome development within this community from an economic growth point of view. So thank you, Nick.
Mr. Walker now.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. That part of my question was answered then, Nick. I'm concerned about the entrances on and into that property. So we have then, as a result of just passing this tonight, we do have another alternative avenue to discuss the entrances then and confirm whether they are actually off those roads or otherwise.
Through your worship, that is correct. So tonight again is through an official plan and rezoning. So it's to establish the use on the site. The applicants did provide a conceptual site plan showing the kind of intended layout of the property. However, it's not till site plan approval, which is a subsequent application, that would be finalized and it would have to be to our satisfaction in accordance with the policies of our official plan.
Right. Thank you. Other members? Any other questions? No? All right. Thank you, Nick and staff. I appreciate that. Members of council, we have a motion in front of us. I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? Carries unanimous again. Thank you very much. Council, we're going to move over to the administration. They do have a report here. This is from the CAO, an update on the former Stainer Care Center and the Community Use Facility Upgrades Reserve. Recommendation, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report CAO 006-2025 update on the former Stainer Care Center and Community Use Upgrades Reserve dated June the 2nd, 2025. Item 1, the council approve redesigning the senior affordable housing, redesignating the Senior Affordable Housing Reserve to the Community Use and Facility Upgrades Reserve to be used solely to fund upgrades to the former Stainer Care Center property. And item 2, that council approve the expenditure up to $30,000 to procure an architect to undertake a design review and assessment of the former Stainer Care Center property located at 7308 Highway 26 to fulfill the requirements for a change of use permit. And item 3, that council agrees that the immediate uses of the property are for a youth center and municipal employee office spaces with the opportunity for public engagement on additional community benefit uses. Okay, moved by Deneen. Walker, seconded. Thank you very much. Mr. CAO, would you like to speak to this directly or do you want to just take some questions?
Yeah, I can take questions if council has them, Your Worship.
Sure. All right. Members of council, do you have any questions? Mr. Walker will be up first.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wondered how much is in that housing reserve?
Kelly?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Councillor Bacher. That one's sitting at about 500,000 right now.
Did I see Mr. Beelan? And then I saw Philip?
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just wondering how much is in that reserve right now?
Apparently 500,000. Thank you. Phyllis?
Obviously, that was one question. Kelly, at budget time, how we put in to that reserve a certain amount of money and every year we up it, we double it? Is that, how's that? I can't.
Through your worship to Councillor Deneen, when the reserve was originally set up, that was the plan, that we would increase it by 100,000 each year. Each year, council has decided to stay that increase, so it's just been the 100,000 going in.
Yes, that's because we had nothing on the books for it. And yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Van Stavern?
Thank you, Your Worship, to CAO Ferguson. Have we had any discussions with the county of Simcoe in that they own the building behind us there? is there any symbiotic things we can do? And when we do hire our architect, that we get them involved as well. But I guess my ask right now is, are we consulting with the county at all?
Thank you, through you, your worship, to Deputy Mayor Van Staveren. There are a couple of things that we're working on. I can't speak to it right now,
That's fine.
but definitely, yes.
Good, thank you.
Definitely working. Mr. MacArthur's next.
Yeah, just number, condition 3 there. Just wondered, have we got a plan for getting public input on additional uses and whatnot, like in form of a public meeting possibly, or, because I think this is a great opportunity for the general public to come up with some ideas for us.
Okay, I will go to the CAO first, because I know that between the staff, they have been having some discussions. Let's call them informal, but you can share a little bit.
Thank you, your worship, through you to Councillor MacArthur. Yes, we know right now that we think that there's at least 2 community uses that will fit well. Part of having the architect come into the building is to ensure that, because we will have youth in the building, there's vulnerable sector requirements on how the building is laid out. So it'll tell us a little bit about where we could fit people in and the possibility. And we don't want to get ahead of ourselves in the event that we say to one group, you can probably come in, and then find out due to the arrangement of the building, it may not work. So that's something that we're working through. But we do feel that 2 key community uses we think that can fit in, and we're trying to design the building to accommodate that as well.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Broderick, do you have any questions? We'll make everybody have a question on this one. I like that. Go ahead, John. Well, that's good then. I appreciate that. All right. Yes, back to Mr. Beelan. Thank you.
Thank you, worship. When do we get the building, and is there a chance that we won't? So I'm wondering why we're spending money on an architect when we don't have the building yet, or are we waiting till we get it to spend the money?
Are you permitted to talk about that? Just, go ahead if you think you can.
Through you, your worship, to Councillor Beelan. We do know it's not that far off, but I can't disclose it right now.
Enough said.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the difficulty when it comes to land purchases, guys. You know, you got to be careful what you say and what you can't say. So, but I have to say, I think that the answer that was provided in regards to the architect is very important. Given the fact that we're moving the youth center, the intention will be that the youth center, we've already identified that as a service of the township, that will be become a primary occupant of that building. So any other uses, we have to be cautious and cognizant of, vulnerable sector uses. So we have to be careful what the building layout will be. And when you do that, if you have to create these separated walls or locked doors between sections, you have to also then check to make sure there's proper fire exits, et cetera, to make sure that it's a safe renovation that would be done to provide for a public building to have the safe egress from the building. So there's a few pieces in there, and I don't mind telling you, I was a little surprised to hear we had to get an architect involved. But thinking about the bigger picture here about us being responsible for public buildings, that's why we have to do that. That's essentially why we have to do that. So I think it's a wise decision. In the end, it'll help us make better decisions down the road when it comes to the building. So members of council, anything further? All right. Thank you, Mr. CAO. I do want to speak, I want to go right back to item number 1, which is the Senior Affordable Housing Reserve. I think that what has been missed here, part of this, is that we have discussed the use of the Stainer Care Center for our community uses. But the other part of the property, which we mentioned right at the top of the meeting here, is the Wilcox Block, which continues to have residential uses in it. And from my desk and from the CAO's conversations with staff, I don't think there's any intent to change the residential uses on that site at this time. We want to continue to have that as a residential use. And so there will be, and there are some seniors in those facilities at this time. Not everyone who's in there right now, but there's 6 units there. So it's a little different for us at Clearview Township to take over operating residential rental units. And so I would hope that our conversations with the county might extend to maybe creating some type of MOU between the county, which are experts at operating these type of rental facilities. We're not, they certainly are. So we'll see where that goes, just to let everybody know. And the reassignment of this funds will be very much in support of, I believe the initial direction was that it would be to help with affordable housing. We're just going to target the whole thing on this site at this time, given that the township does not own other properties that could possibly ever be used, and there's no developers interested in participating in this. As Councillor Deneen pointed out, there is no program for senior affordable housing. There is no such program, but we'll evolve that a little bit as our conversations with the county continue. All right. Members of council, that's enough. Have you had any other further questions? Seeing none, I am prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you very much. All right, council. At this time, we get to move on to our bylaws. We've got a couple in here. Here's the fees and charges bylaw we mentioned earlier, 2501. Be it resolved that bylaw 2537 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2501, establishing fees and charges for services and activities provided by the Township of Clearview, be presented and read a first, second, and third time, finally passed on the second day of June 2025. Can I have a mover and seconder, Mr. Walker and Mr. MacArthur? All right. And council, you've got the bylaw. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call it. All those in favor? Bylaw carries unanimous. Thank you. Official plan amendment number 28 and number 3. Be it resolved that bylaw 2538 being a bylaw to adopt amendments number 28 to the 2001 official plan and amendment number 3 to the 2024 official plan of the Township of Clearview be presented and read a first, second, and third time, finally passed on this second day of June 2025. And I'll take Mr. MacArthur or Mr. Van Stavern. Would you like to move that? Very good. Mr. Broderick, would you second it? Thank you very much. And council, you've got the bylaw in front of you. Is there any questions? Seeing none, I'll call it. All those in favor? And that bylaw carries. Thank you very much. And next page is the bylaw 2539 transfer payment agreement with the HEWSF. Be it resolved that bylaw 2539 being a bylaw to authorize entering into a Ontario transfer payment agreement with the Ontario Enabling Water Systems Fund Intake Number 2 with His Majesty the King in right of Ontario as represented by the Minister of Infrastructure be presented and read a first, second, and third time, finally passed on the second day of June 2025. Can I get that moved by Mr. Broderick and seconded by Deneen? Thank you very much. And you have the bylaw in front of you. Any questions? Seeing none. All those in favor? Bylaw carries unanimous. Thank you. Encroachment bylaw. This is the encroachment bylaw that we discussed. Be it resolved that bylaw 2540, being a bylaw to regulate and address encroachments on municipally owned property in the Township of Clearview, be presented and read a first, second, and third time, finally passed on the second day of June 2025. That'd be moved by Mr. MacArthur, seconded by Mr. Beelan. Thank you very much. Council, you've got the bylaw in front of you. Any questions? Yes, question on the bylaw?
Yeah, I questioned the clerk, and I don't know whether you got that little picture, just because there was a little bit of confusion over the site triangles and all that. So we now have, and it'll be part of the application, picture showing these triangles as they apply.
Right. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Worship. And actually, our operations technologist in Public Works worked on their new sight line. And he did present us one that Dan, our Director of Public Works, approved just this afternoon that will be attached with the application form. I can bring them up on the screen, generally of what they will look like so everyone can see. But we'll make sure any applicants do know when they're applying what those sight triangles are. So let me just open up my screen.
Tell you what, can you just make sure that the application gets sent to all members of council so we can see it? So we can all just visually see it before you start printing hundreds and hundreds of them for these people to apply?
Yeah. So Dan can speak to these ones. So this one, I believe, is the collector road to a local road and what the site triangle would look like there.
Dan, what's that? Is that what that is right there? That's what you're looking at? Go ahead.
Yeah, Your Worship. So there's a couple of iterations of it, but to be clear that the measurement is along sort of the projected street line, whether that be the curb in certain situations where there are curb, or whether it's edge of asphalt or, in a rural type setting. So, so that one there is at the driveway as well. So at the road line and at the driveway line, that those two measurements are taken across, and then you just draw a triangle, projected triangle across there to put those sight lines, which would limit the height of the planting to the 0.6. So anywhere else other than those areas that were shown, the plantings is in accordance with the bylaw, would be 1 meter.
Okay.
So 1 meter everywhere on the bylaw except for those specific areas would be 0.6.
Okay.
We'll refine those drawings as well, just that, like they were done this afternoon.
Yeah.
So,
All
we'll
right.
refine them a bit more, but and while we develop the application form, that we'll have those attached as well.
As I suggested to the clerk, once the forms are sort of finalized with the staff, please forward it to members of council. All right, council, you can get a hold of me through the mayor's office, and we can deal with there's any concerns with it. Okay.
Yeah, our technologist is working on those as well.
Right on. That's great. Thank you, everyone. Council, we have a bylaw in front of us. I'm prepared to call it. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you very much. All right. Demand loan agreement from the County of Simcoe. Be it resolved that bylaw 2541 being a bylaw to authorize entering into a demand loan agreement with the County of Simcoe for the Klondike Park Road Water Project be presented and read a first, second, and third time, finally passed the second day of June 2025. Moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Mr. MacArthur. Thank you. And any questions on this one? You got the bylaw? Thank you. All those in favor? That bylaw carries. All right. We are completed the bylaws with the exception of confirmatory. Any new business? There is some new business. Yes, I do want to say this. Often in new business, I bring up the cleanup of our storm damage. It was mentioned earlier, and I want to acknowledge and thank both the township staff, the County of Simcoe staff, and the County of Simcoe contractors, who all worked to make sure that things are cleaned up there on Milltown Road. So I got a call from a resident. You might know him as the former clerk of the beautiful township of Clearview, who advised me that pickups were happening, and it was quite nice to get that phone call. So I haven't been up personally to see it. I've been kind of busy, but I tell you what, tomorrow morning at about 5 a.m., I'll do a little drive-by on my way to London. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, and thank you, Dan, for all the efforts that you guys have done. Sadly, there is an awful lot of brush still out all over the township. And also, sadly, if I might say, there are members of the public who are property owners who are stacking brush on the boulevards of our community. And it's pretty obvious to me that it's not storm damage material. So I'm not sure why people continue to do that. This was all about the storm. They're obviously taking advantage of the fact that the county has this generosity and this responsibility to clean up from the storm, but I don't think that's right, folks. I think you should really consider that. It's not that difficult to arrange for somebody to help you out. So I'm just surprised to see more and more and more brush showing up when I know it's already been picked up on that property. So, hey, but I don't police that. I just happen to see what I see. Dan, did you have something you want to say? You're good?
I just want to, I think you hit it right on the head, Your Worship, that while that area is picked up, there's certain other areas that still require some pickup. So we'll keep working with the county to get those areas
100%
picked up. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's going to be nice to not have this new business item to keep coming back to. Thank you. But there is one other piece of new business. And before we get to confirmatory bylaw, I do have to report, sadly, that this is the last official meeting for our Director of Planning, Amy Can, who is leaving our employ here. She's moving on to another job, and we are absolutely going to miss you. You've been a terrific asset to this team. I know that the senior management team meetings, I understand, are very good when you're there because you keep people smiling. Because sometimes they're not always smiling. So thank you very much for chipping in, keep that morale going. But also thank you for all your professional work that you have done leading your department. And I hope that you have a very successful career and all the best to your children and your family. And we're going to miss you here at the council table. All the best, Amy.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with you and this council and all the staff here at Clearview and the members of the public. It's been a great experience, so thank you very much.
All right. Good luck. Oh, yes. Okay, council. As if nothing further? Sorry, I dominated the new business section. Nothing? Okay, thank you, council. Confirmatory bylaw, be it resolved, bylaw 2542. Being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the June 2nd, 2025 council meeting be presented and read a first, second, and third time and finally passed on the second day of June 2025. Mr. Deputy Mayor, Mr. MacArthur, once again. And all those in favor? That carries. Motion to adjourn at this time. What time are we at here, folks? 6:51. 6:51, the council meeting be adjourned. Councillor Deneen, Councillor Walker, or Councillor Beelan? Thank you. It'll be Beelan. Thank you very much. All those in favor for adjournment? And this meeting is adjourned. I want to wish everybody an excellent day. I hope you enjoy the next warm days. So next time it rains, you can blame Amy because she's not here. Bye, guys.